She had the mic ripped out of her hand, in front of millions. And then came the mocking laughter, the rude remarks, the pitying stares like tiny knives, thrown from an entire industry. It was supposed to be the happiest night of her young career, a 19-year-old girl from Tennessee winning her very first award. But in just 3 short seconds, the spotlight turned from celebration to spectacle. When the mic was torn from her grip, when her voice was cut mid-sentence, when her heart dropped beneath the sound of fake applause, she didn't know that was just the beginning of the darkest chapter of her life. Her name, Talia Summers, once a gentle melody, became a punchline across thousands of posts. They called her fake, a snake in glitter, a clueless kid playing in an adult's game. And the scariest part? They believed it. But her comeback? That would become their worst nightmare. She didn't just survive. She climbed higher than they ever imagined, on her own terms. The night of January 17th, 2010, glittered with promise inside Nashville's Grand Ole Opry House. The Stellar Music Awards, a constellation of gospel and soul, pulsed with energy, velvet gowns, diamond cufflinks, and the hum of ambition. Talia Summers stood backstage, her palms cool despite the heat of the moment. At 19, she was a vision in a cream silk gown, its neckline modest but elegant, her dark curls pinned loosely to frame her face. Her almond eyes, warm as amber, held a quiet fire, and her skin, a rich caramel, glowed under the stage lights. Born in a small Memphis suburb, she'd grown up singing in church choirs, her voice a gift that carried her family's dreams. Her mother, a school teacher, and her father, a mechanic, had sacrificed everything, extra shifts, second jobs, to nurture her talent. Now her breakout hit, Speak of Me, a soulful ballad about faith and longing, had landed her the award for Best Female Music Video. Talia stepped onto the stage, her heels steady, her smile soft but radiant. The crowd roared, a wave of love that felt like home. She reached for the microphone, her fingers brushing the cool metal, ready to thank her parents, her fans, her God. "This means everything," she began, her voice clear, like a bell in the morning. Then, chaos. Kellen Ward, all swagger and sharp edges, barreled through the curtain. At 25, he was a rapper whose talent warred with his temper, 6 feet tall, dreads tied back, his gold chain catching the light like a warning. His hit, No Chains, had made him a star, but his feuds kept him infamous. Before Talia could blink, he snatched the mic from her hand, his grin wide, reckless. "Yo, Talia, I'm really happy for you," he said, his voice booming through the auditorium. "But Bianca Monroe had one of the best videos of all time." The crowd froze. A gasp rippled, then silence, heavy as stone. Cameras swung to Talia, catching the shock in her eyes, the way her lips parted but held no sound. Her hands hovered, empty, where the mic had been. Kellen paced the stage, laughing, feeding off the tension. "Come on, y'all know it's true," he shouted, tossing the mic back to her like an afterthought. It slipped through her fingers, clattering to the floor. The sound echoed, a gunshot in the quiet. Talia stood still, her face a mask of grace under fire. She bent slowly, picking up the mic, her movements deliberate, dignified. The crowd waited, breath held, but before she could speak, Bianca Monroe herself, elegant in emerald satin, her braids cascading, walked out. At 30, Bianca was a legend, her voice a velvet storm. She took Talia's hand, her smile warm but firm. "This is her moment," Bianca said, her tones slicing through Kellen's bravado. "Let her have it." The crowd erupted, cheering for Bianca's class, for Talia's resilience. Kellen slunk off, shrugging, unbothered. Talia finished her speech, short, steady, thanking her family, her faith, but the cameras lingered on her trembling fingers, the shine in her eyes that wasn't just joy. As Talia stepped off the stage, her cream gown catching the dim backstage light, she thought the worst was over. But the green room was a viper's nest. Fellow nominees, rising stars she'd admired, shared smiles with at rehearsals, turned on her like wolves. A singer named Jade, whose ballad had lost to Talia's, leaned against a wall, her red lipstick curling into a sneer. "Poor little Talia," she mocked, loud enough for the others to hear. "Did you think you'd keep that award without a fight?" A producer's assistant, clipboard in hand, laughed, whispering to a stylist, "She's just Kellen's punchline now." Another nominee, A gospel duo called the Harper Twins scrolled their phones, giggling as they liked a meme of Talia's stunned face captioned "Out of her league." Jade stepped closer, her heels clicking, and flicked Talia's award with a manicured nail. "Enjoy your 15 minutes, sweetheart," she hissed. "You're nobody tomorrow." Talia stood frozen, her award heavy as lead, her throat tight. She didn't snap back, didn't cry, just nodded, her eyes burning with something fierce, something they'd regret igniting. Backstage, the air shifted. Reporters swarmed, their questions sharp. "Talia, did you feel humiliated? Was Kellen right about Bianca?" She answered with poise, her voice smooth as river stones. "I'm just grateful to be here," she said, dodging the bait. But the narrative was already spinning. By morning, headlines screamed, "Kellen Ward steals Talia Summers' thunder." Social media churned. Mick Grab trended, memes of Talia's stunned face plastered everywhere. Some called Kellen a jerk, others laughed at Talia, dubbing her the lucky little girl who got famous by accident. One viral post read, "She's no Bianca, just a kid who got a cute video." The comments piled on. Snake emojis, overrated, who even is she? Talia returned to her hotel, her award heavy in her hands. She sat on the bed, still in her gown, and stared at the Nashville skyline. Her phone buzzed. Texts from her parents, her manager, her pastor. "You handled it with grace," her mother wrote. "Keep shining." Talia nodded to herself, her jaw tight. She wouldn't cry. Not here, not now. But the world didn't stop. Talk shows dissected the moment. Comedians mocked her deer-in-headlights look, and radio hosts debated if she deserved the award at all. A gossip blog claimed she'd stolen her hit from an unknown writer, a lie that spread like wildfire. Weeks after the awards, Talia agreed to a radio interview, hoping to shift the narrative. The station, Hot Vibe FM, was a cultural hub, its host DJ Rico known for his charm. She arrived in a simple sweater, her curls loose, expecting a lifeline. Instead, Rico set a trap. "So Talia," he drawled, leaning into the mic. "Kellen says you're a fluke. Gotta come back for that?" Before she could answer, he played a clip of Kellen's laugh, looping it like a taunt. Callers piled on. One, a woman named Shay, sneered, "She's just a church girl who got lucky. Go home, Talia." Another, anonymous, called her Kellen's shadow, his voice dripping with pity. Rico grinned, egging them on, reading tweets live. "Talia Summers is canceled, LOL." Talia sat still, her hands folded, her voice calm when she finally spoke. "I'm here for the music, not the noise." But Rico cut her off, laughing. "Music? Sweetie, you're famous for freezing." The segment went viral, clips shared with hashtags like #TaliaFlops, each laugh a knife in her back. Her Instagram comments turned venomous. "Go back to church, fraud. Kellen made you relevant, LOL." She stayed silent, her posts simple. Photos of sunsets, Bible verses, a vague "thank you for the love." Her team urged her to clap back, to own the narrative. But Talia refused. "Words don't fix cruelty," she told her manager, her voice calm but edged with steel. "Time will." She poured herself into her music, writing late into the night, her guitar a lifeline. But the industry wasn't kind. Sponsors hesitated, whispering about bad optics. A major festival dropped her from its lineup, citing scheduling conflicts. By 2013, Talia was fighting to stay relevant, invited to a charity gala hosted by Vibe Nation, a music conglomerate. She arrived in a navy gown, understated but regal, hoping to network. Instead, she was a ghost. Executives who'd once courted her, men in tailored suits, women with diamond earrings, turned away as she approached. A label rep, Marcus Tate, whispered loudly to a colleague, "She's box office poison now. Kellen ruined her brand." At the dinner, her name card was missing, leaving her to stand awkwardly as tables filled. A junior exec, emboldened by wine, laughed. "Oh, Talia, didn't you get the memo? You're not invited anymore." Others joined in, their chuckles sharp as glass, phones discreetly snapping her solitude. Talia stood tall, her jaw set, and left early, her heels echoing in the marble hall. The next day, a blog posted a blurry photo. Talia Summers snubbed, career over. Her sophomore album, Light in the Hollow, sold modestly but lacked the spark of her debut. In 2011, Talia held a small album signing at a Memphis record store, her first public appearance since the scandal. The line was modest, loyal fans, mostly teens and churchgoers, clutching Light in the Hollow. She smiled, signing each CD with care, her pen looping "Stay Strong" beneath her name. But a group of hecklers, college kids in flashy sneakers, crashed the event, their phones out, live streaming for clout. "Yo, Talia!" one shouted, waving a fake mic. "Kellen wants his stage back!" The others laughed, chanting, "Famous for nothing," as they pushed through the crowd. One tossed a crumpled flyer at her table. The words "Mike Thief" scrawled in marker. A young fan, maybe 14, tried to defend her, but the hecklers drowned her out, their stream hitting thousands of views. Talia kept signing, her hand steady, her eyes meeting each fan's with warmth. "Don't listen to them," she whispered to the girl, but the jeers echoed, their cruelty a stain on her home turf. Critics called it safe, forgettable. The public moved on, their attention fickle, leaving Talia to carry the weight alone. Then, in 2016, Kellen Ward struck again. His new single, "Famous for Nothing," hit like a grenade. The beat was fire, but the lyrics were poison. "She might still dream about me. I made that girl famous." The video was worse, a mock stage with a cardboard cutout of Talia, her face frozen in that 2010 shock, while Kellen grinned, waving a fake award. The internet ate it up. #famous. For Nothing trended for days, streams skyrocketing. Kellen leaned into the chaos, smirking on podcasts, doubling down in interviews. "Talia's cool, but facts are facts," he said, shrugging. "I gave her a moment." Days later, Kayla Kensington, Kellen's wife, poured fuel on the fire. In 2017, as Talia's silence stretched, Kayla Kensington doubled down. On her reality show, Kensington Nights, she staged a girls' night episode, inviting influencers to dissect Talia's fall. Sipping rosé, Kayla played the infamous voice clip again, smirking. "She told me herself. Do the song," Kayla lied, her eyes gleaming for the camera. Her guests piled on. Blogger Tasha V called Talia a fake saint, while influencer Leo Cruz sneered, "She's milking that victim card for dust." The episode cut to a montage of Talia's 2010 clip, slowed down, her shock mocked with cartoon sound effects. Kayla leaned in, her voice venomous. "Talia Summers is done. Let's stop pretending she was ever real." The show trended, sparking Talia Exposed, with fans, once hers, turning their comments brutal. "Hypocrite! Snake!" Talia, alone in her Atlanta apartment, saw the clips but didn't flinch, her pen scratching new lyrics, her resolve a quiet inferno. A reality TV star with platinum hair and a penchant for drama, Kayla posted a grainy voice recording on Instagram. Talia totally gave her blessing for the song, Kayla claimed, her caption smug. "No shade, just truth." The clip was muffled, a woman's voice, allegedly Talia's, saying, "It's fine, do what you want." No context, no proof, but it was enough. The internet exploded. Talia's posts drowned in snake emojis. Liar, two-faced. A viral thread dissected her fake humility, calling her a manipulator who'd played the victim for clout. Brands like Luminous Beauty and Star Vibe dropped her, citing values misalignment. Her summer tour, Soul on Strings, was canceled. Venues claimed low ticket sales, but the truth was colder. Promoters didn't want the drama. Talia vanished. No interviews, no red carpets, no music. Her social media went dark, her website a blank page. The industry whispered she'd cracked, moved back to Tennessee maybe, or quit music altogether. A 2017 tabloid claimed she was waitressing in Knoxville, a cruel lie that stuck. Kellen, meanwhile, rode the wave, his album No Apologies hitting platinum. Kayla's reality show, Kensington Nights, got a second season, her smirk a fixture on billboards. They partied in Miami, Paris, Dubai, while Talia's name faded, a footnote in their victory lap. But Talia wasn't gone. She was rebuilding. In a small Atlanta studio far from the spotlight, she worked. No team, no label, just her, a rented mic, and a notebook thick with pain. She'd moved quietly, leasing a one-bedroom apartment with bare walls and a single chair. Her neighbors didn't know her name. To them, she was the woman who smiled politely, carrying groceries in the rain. She wrote through the nights, her voice sharpening, her melodies cutting deeper. She wasn't the soft girl from 2010 anymore. She was something else, fierce, focused, alive with purpose. In late 2018, a single dropped without warning. Look What You Raised was raw, haunting, a blade wrapped in velvet. Talia's voice was different, lower, colder, full of scars. "They tried to bury me," she sang. but I grew roots. The video opened in a graveyard, Talia clawing out of dirt, her white dress torn but her eyes blazing. Crimson roses bloomed around her, their thorns glinting like knives. No label backed it, no PR machine hyped it, just a link on her reactivated Instagram captioned, "I'm still here." The world stopped. Fans, dormant for years, flooded her page, tears in their comments, hearts in their shares. New listeners found her, drawn to the fury in her calm. The song climbed charts. Album 10, number 5, number 1, without a single radio push. Blogs scrambled to write about Talia's resurrection. A viral TikTok showed a teenage girl sobbing to the lyrics, her caption raw. "This is for anyone they tried to break." The hashtag #HowTaliaReturns trended globally, amassing millions of posts. One tweet from a nobody with 1,000 followers went viral. "Talia Summers didn't get revenge, she got justice." It got 500,000 likes. Her album Ruins and Roses followed in 2019, a masterpiece of pain and power, tracks like Lovers and Letters, a piano ballad about betrayal, and Whispers in the Woods, a pulsing anthem of survival, hit like lightning. Critics raved, calling it a phoenix's cry, a middle finger to the industry. The Grammy Committee, once dismissive, nominated her for Album of the Year. She didn't attend the ceremony, letting her absence speak. When she won, the camera panned to an empty seat, her name echoing in silence. Talia's global tour, The Eras Within Me, launched in 2020, selling out stadiums in hours. She performed in a simple black gown, her voice the only ornament. Fans wore roses in their hair, a nod to her video, their screams a wall of love. In London, she paused mid-set, her eyes scanning 80,000 faces. "They told me I was nothing," she said, her voice steady. "You told me I was enough." The crowd roared, phones lighting the dark like stars. Clips went viral. #Talia Triumph trended for weeks. By 2024, she'd won Album of the Year at the Stellar Awards 4 times, a record no one touched. Her label, Rose Thorn Records, which she founded herself, signed rising artists, giving them what she never had, a voice without strings. Kellen Ward, meanwhile, unraveled. After Famous for Nothing, his stunts grew desperate, tweeting conspiracy theories, crashing award shows, picking fights with nobodies. In 2019, he called a senator a puppet on live TV, losing Axis, Goldhouse, and G-Corp sponsorships overnight. His accounts were banned, unbanned, banned again. Each time, his followers dwindled. By 2021, he was a caricature, begging for podcast slots, his dreads graying, his chain pawned. By 2022, Kellen Ward was a shadow of his former self, clawing for relevance. At a low-budget music festival in Miami, he took the stage, his mic crackling, his shirt stained with sweat. The crowd, half-empty, restless, booed before he started. "Y'all don't know talent," he screamed, slurring as he launched into No Chains. Mid-song, he spotted a fan in a Talia Summers t-shirt, her rose logo bold. Enraged, Kellen hurled his mic at the ground, shattering it, and ranted, "Talia's nothing without me, I made her!" Security dragged him off, his voice fading to pathetic yells. The moment went viral. Clips shared millions of times, captioned, "Kellen's done." Sponsors dropped his last deals, his booking agent ghosted, and X banned him permanently for hate speech. A trending thread read, "Kellen Ward thought he broke Talia. She broke him." Fans flooded Talia's page with roses, their cheers a deafening roar for her victory. A viral clip showed him yelling at a barista, captioned, "When you peak at 25. The world laughed, but it wasn't kind. Kayla's fall was quieter but no less brutal. She filed for divorce in 2021, citing irreconcilable differences. Her skincare line, K Skin, launched with fanfare but tanked. Products were called for rashes, her name mocked in reviews. Kayla's downfall peaked in 2024, when K Skin, her failing skincare line, faced a class action lawsuit. Customers, hundreds of them, posted photos of red, peeling faces, blaming her Bright Glow serum. A viral expose revealed Kayla had faked lab tests using cheap fillers to cut costs. At a press conference meant to save her, she stood in a shaky spotlight, her platinum hair limp, her voice cracking. "I'm sorry, okay?" she stammered as reporters shouted, "What about Talia?" Kayla froze, tears spilling, and fled the stage, her heels tripping on the carpet. The internet erupted. K-Skin scam trended, her products pulled from shelves, her net worth slashed to nothing. A fan video juxtaposed Kayla's breakdown with Talia's Stellar Awards speech, captioned, "One lied, one rose." Talia's fans flooded X, their support a tidal wave, chanting her name as Kayla's empire burned to ash. She tried a tell-all book, Behind the Glam, but it sold 2,000 copies, mostly to tabloids for scraps. In 2023, on a low-budget talk show, she broke down, her mascara streaking. "I trusted the wrong man," she said, her voice small. "And I hurt an innocent woman." The audience clapped, but social media didn't care. Kayla Karma trended, her apologies drowned in scorn. She faded, her Instagram a ghost town, her stories just selfies in dim light. Talia never mentioned them, not in interviews, not in songs. When asked about 2010, she'd smile, her eyes sharp. "That was a long time ago," she'd say, redirecting to her work, her fans. But the world hadn't forgotten. In 2022, a documentary, The Mic Drop, dissected the scandal, painting Talia as a hero, Kellen and Kayla as villains. It streamed to millions, sparking hard justice for Talia. A fan-made video synced "Look What You Raised" to clips of Talia's rise, her Grammy win, her tour, her smile. It got 10 million views, comments flooding. She won. They tried to break her. Look at her now. The industry shifted. Brands begged for Talia's endorsement, Luxe Vibe, Moon Glow, even Bianca Monroe's fragrance line. She chose carefully, signing with ethical companies, her face on billboards that didn't scream but whispered. Strength, grace, power. Her childhood home in Memphis, once a rental, was now hers, renovated, a haven for her parents who retired early. She built a community center nearby, its walls painted with roses, its stage open to young singers. "This is where I started," she said at its opening, her voice steady. "No one's taking that away." In 2024, at the Stellar Awards, Talia stood on stage again, her 4th Album of the Year trophy in hand. Her gown was crimson, simple but regal, her curls loose, her smile quiet. The crowd stood, their applause a tide. She looked out, her amber eyes catching the light, and spoke softly. "They tried to silence me," she said. "Now I own the stage." The room shook, phones capturing every word. Online, the tide turned for good. #Talia owns, it trended, fans posting roses, lyrics, love. A tweet summed it up. Talia Summers didn't just come back, she rewrote the rules. Kellen watched from a bar in Atlanta, his phone cracked, his beer warm. Kayla scrolled X alone, her notifications empty. They were shadows now, their names tied to Talia's light. She didn't need their apologies, their regret. She'd built an empire from their ruins, her roots deeper than their lies. Talia Summers, the girl once mocked, called a snake, a fraud, had become a symbol, not of vengeance but of rising. Her voice, once stolen, now echoed everywhere. Her stage, once invaded, was hers alone. If this story reminded you of someone real, someone who once stood on stage, humiliated, silenced, underestimated, leave her name in the comments. Because behind every public downfall, there's a private storm. And behind every comeback, there's a fire that never stopped burning. If you believe that every woman who is mocked, dismissed, or called a fraud deserves her moment to rise, then don't just scroll away. Like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring these untold stories to light and gives power back to the voices that were once taken. Let's make sure the world never forgets her name.